Live from Television Hill, this is WJZ Breaking News.
I can hear like a voice, like, help, help. So we just started digging in.
Breaking news this afternoon, an explosion rocks a community in northwest Baltimore. One woman is dead, many more injured. Hello, everyone. I'm Vic Carter.
And I'm Rick Ritter. Of course, we've been following this breaking news all day long, a little more than 6 hours now. The blast is being described as a major gas explosion. If you are just joining us right now, Chopper 13 live over the scene. At this hour, first responders, they are still there working to rescue victims that may be trapped under the rubble. And they have been there since about 10 o'clock this morning along Reisterstown Road, right near the Falstaff community and Lady Rinth Road.
Our team has been on the scene this morning. Let's begin now with Paul Gesser with new information from the fire department from just moments ago. Paul?
Hi, Vic. Yeah, so if there was someone just pulled out from the rubble, we had no indication of that from the ground about a block and a half away. At that press conference about a half hour ago, we were told one fatality confirmed, which we knew the past few hours. Now 6 additional people taken to the hospital. They are still searching the area now. Chief Clark saying this is very much still a rescue operation. He made very clear note that this is not a recovery operation, but rather a rescue operation. We would it's of note that this urban, and I'm stuttering here because the mayor and city councilmen are walking by now. They just toured the scene. So no indication that we're going to get an update from them as they're walking by us now. But there was an urban search and rescue truck that went down the block about an hour and a half ago, taking supplies down to that area. And again, nothing of note from the ground here in the last half hour or so where our chopper may have seen someone be taken out. We have no indication of that. Blair Adams from the Baltimore City Fire Department called this a major gas explosion. Of course, there is still very much an investigation into what could have spurred that. A lot of houses have damage. 3 are destroyed. They're working to turn off that gas main now. BGE crews have been on scene here now that we're in hour 7, pretty much since we got on scene in the 10 o'clock hour. And they're also providing temporary shelter to a lot of the neighbors here on the scene, where the Red Cross has a pretty big operation there as well. In fact, they wanted to partition some of the media over on this side of the street so the Red Cross could do some of that triage in terms of who needs help with housing. So for right now, still a very active scene here in northwest Baltimore. If you're familiar with Reisterstown Road, we're just north of that Applebee's, Home Depot, and Giant for the Reisterstown Shopping Plaza. Back to you guys.
Okay, thank you very much, Paul. Let's go now to Ava Joy, who is showing us more of the damage as she has all day. Ava Joy.
Hi, Vic. So as we've been mentioning, we've been here for several hours now, and just to kind of reset and paint the scene for you, for people who haven't been following us all along, once we got here on the scene, we're on Navy Street. It's 1 block over from where this explosion happened. You could see that there was extensive damage, even 1 block over, even in situations where the homes were being blocked by other homes. So we wanted to walk you through this area a little bit just to give you an idea of what's happening at this point. The aftermath of homes and windows being affected by this, and the windows being blasted out. Now people are actually clearing up and putting up plywood. We're going to walk around here for you, Alan, if you could walk with me around the side of this home. So this is one side of where the situation happened. So we're going to walk towards the back of this home, and we want to get you a little bit closer to the damage from earlier today. This is what people are now dealing with. This is where the issue was. If you take a look over here, that area of indentation, that's where at least 3 homes were leveled. That's the center of the blast. But this effect spanned out for several more blocks where homes were impacted. So at this point, what we are seeing, people are now cleaning up, getting ready to kind of figure out what to do next. If you look over here, Alan, you see folks are putting up the plywood. That's the next step of this investigation. One more thing that we wanted to talk to you guys about. Earlier, we talked to a family. Oh, you know what, Alan? Let's come over here. So we want to zoom in a little bit and see the dog that's perhaps a search and rescue dog that is in that area right now. Earlier, Captain Sidney mentioned that they may have pulled something else from this area. So right now you see their crews who are still going over the area just to make sure that there's nobody else down there, or just to make sure that there's nobody else that they need to rescue. We've been out here for several hours now, and they're being very cautious to make sure that they're not leaving anyone behind. So that is the extent of what we are seeing right at this point here in this area of West Baltimore, where a significant blast killed at least one person, as we know right now, and injured several others as officials continue to investigate the potential cause for this, and as community groups are out here helping people who've been impacted because their homes were damaged. We're going to send it back into you guys.
Okay, thank you very much, Alva Joy.
All right, let's go to Annie Rose Ramos now, who spoke to witnesses and neighbors. I believe she has some new developments on her end in terms of what you're seeing or what you've seen. Annie Rose.
Rick, just behind me is where the explosion took place, and I can tell you just moments ago we saw that rescue teams pulled up maybe 3 or 4 white sheets and removed a body from the scene. You can see that there are dogs, just like Avajoy mentioned. The dogs have been here at the scene for hours trying to find anyone that they could find in terms of sniffing out, but we can report that we did see rescue teams pull out a body from this explosion site just moments ago. Out of respect for their families, they pulled up white sheets so that we weren't able to see what was happening directly, but authorities here told us that they were pulling out a body from the basement of this scene. So just completely unfolding right in front of us. We've been here for a few hours. We've spoken to neighbors who live just in this area who say they were sleeping, they were jolted out of bed by this explosion only to hear a blast, not knowing what it was coming from, running towards this area. Many people described not running without shoes, without a shirt, in their pajamas, trying to do whatever they can to help the people who they heard from inside screaming underneath that rubble. Listen to one account.
I just heard a boom, and I saw our windows are shattered, and then I went outside and saw what happened, so I told my mom to give me her shoes, and I walked down there, and then we heard a woman screaming, so a few of us, we just went and started digging her out.
Just a traumatizing experience for so many, Rick and Vic. I can tell you that when we first arrived here on the scene, people were shaking. They were just completely in shock about what had just happened. Now you can see from Chopper 13, this is still very much an active scene. This is still very much people working in every area. They're removing debris with their hands. They're removing with the chainsaws. You can see just the impact of that explosion reaching the tree behind me. There are clothes in that tree, which is just incredible and gives you an idea, guys, of just the magnitude of this explosion, but still very active. There are crews cycling in and out, trying to stay hydrated with some water and food, doing everything they can to stay basically cooled down in this incredible, relentless heat. So they've been cycling in and out, but the crews remain working. There's a forensics team taking pictures of not just the scene of the explosion, but the houses around them and how the blasts have affected everybody's homes for just as far as you can really see, and just to hear the incredible amount of people responding, doing everything they can, neighbors before firefighters were on the scene, doing what they could to help their neighbors in need, doing everything they could without, and let me tell you, the surrounding area is covered in debris. There is just shards of glass, there is wood, there are nails, there are pieces of roof. And so the idea that people just jumped out of bed without any shoes, without their clothes on, to help their neighbors, it's just a heroic aspect, just a small, tiny piece of what happened today at the scene of this blast. Guys, back to you.
Annie Rose, thank you very much. We, of course, will be coming back to you as the afternoon and evening progresses. The damage, of course, extends beyond the 3 homes that were leveled. Neighbors nearby have damage to their homes and are now without power or gas. Representatives of BGE have been going door to door, checking on residents and evaluating the structure of homes. In this video, you can see a pole on the power or telephone lines there. You can see it fell completely over, damaged in the distance to homes. First responders have been on scene all day, digging through the rubble and trying to find any victims.
And this is a view from inside one person's home right there. As you can see, the windows completely off track. Broken glass, destruction outside, inside as well. We've seen that in several homes out there. And some of the families tell us they plan to stay in a hotel for the night. Obviously, that being a big concern now. Many people displaced after this explosion. One person shared this video online just moments after that explosion. Neighbors, they had walked outside to see trash cans knocked over, chain link fences destroyed, pieces of a roof and bricks from a home right in the middle of the street, and then screens from windows that were blown out by the blast.
Senator Jill Carter sent a thank you on Twitter to the many neighbors who are reaching out to help the families impacted by the explosion. She says clothes, food, and other essentials can be dropped off at Applebee's on Reisterstown Plaza. FEMA is there, and we've seen them there all afternoon for supply pallets of water. And Governor Larry Hogan says the state is closely monitoring the horrific explosion. He says his prayers are with the victims and all those affected by the tragedy.
And here is what we know so far. Again, the latest at this hour, at least one person is dead, at least 6 others seriously injured after the explosion. The scene obviously still very active. Crews are still searching that rubble for any additional victims. Annie Rose just told us a moment ago that she believes she saw them pull a body out of that rubble as they pulled up sheets. Off-duty Baltimore Special Rescue Operations personnel, they have been called in to assist with the search and rescue, allowing with several different fire departments as well.
BGE remains on the scene. They are working to turn off the gas to the buildings and then will begin to safely assess the situation. The American Red Cross also assisting displaced residents. And of course, you can count on WJZ to continue to follow this developing story. We'll be live throughout the night right here on WJZ. For more pictures and resources, you can also get information on our website at WJZ.com.
Well, many people in Northwest Baltimore without electricity right now, and this heat certainly dangerous to say the least.
Well, let's go down to meteorologist Chelsea Ingram for the latest on the temperatures out there. What a sweltering day this is for all those first responders. Chelsea.
Yes, unfortunately, Vic and Rick, that is the situation right now. Temperatures are running well above average for this time of year, the average high being 86. But right now, we are easily checking into the 90s. And the issue is dew points are so high, humidity is elevated, so it feels even hotter than that. Let me show you where things stand right now. We're at 92 degrees at BWI. It is 87 in Annapolis, 92 Westminster, and right around 90 degrees currently in Bel Air. When you factor in dew points that are elevated into the 70s and increased humidity, well, this is what it actually feels like. We're talking heat index values close to 100 degrees in and around the city. So that is making for a very, very uncomfortable situation for those folks on top of what's already going on. 93 is what it feels like in Bel Air, 99 in the district, 95 in Annapolis, and right around 99 degrees is what it feels like in Easton. I am tracking just a couple of showers and storms, mainly down to our south and east, very close proximity to a front. And it looks like we do have more 90s in the forecast, unfortunately. So for more on that, I want to send things over to my colleague Bob Turk. He's got a look at what you can expect over the next 5 days. Hey, Bob.
Thank you, Chelsea. Well, we might see some showers here the next couple of days. It's still going to get hot, though. Temperature-wise, will be at or above, quite a bit above normal. Normal is now only 86 degrees. As you can see right now, we're at 92. But our forecasting for the next several days, look at this. We're looking for temperatures to be above normal through Wednesday with more chances of showers, and then we begin to cool down again. Thursday back to normal. Friday and Saturday with more clouds and scattered showers, actually going a little bit below normal. So we do have a break in the heat coming after Wednesday. We do have chances of showers pretty much every single day as well. Beginning tomorrow, best chance probably on Wednesday, Thursday, and again on Friday. And Chelsea will have a complete look at the forecast coming up in a few minutes. Back to you.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Still ahead on WJZ News at 4. We're continuing to follow the breaking news. After a massive gas explosion, Chopper 13 has been over the scene all day. We're bringing you the very latest coming up next. We continue to follow the breaking news out of Northwest Baltimore. Many people woke up to an explosion this morning, then heard gas, whistling, and the sounds of chainsaws throughout the day. Crews have been on the scene along Reisterstown Road near Labyrinth Road after an explosion leveled 3 homes and caused damage to many more. Witnesses tell us they could feel the ground shake as far away as 4 blocks. Here's Here's what we know so far. 1 woman is dead. At least 6 others are seriously injured after the explosion. Scene is very active. BGE is there right this very moment. If you're having problems, no power, no gasoline, you of course no natural gas, you can call 1-800-685-0123. And of course, if you do smell gas, contact them right away. Let's go live now to Kelsey Kushner. She's live in the neighborhood where the explosion happened. Kelsey.
Yeah, Vic, well, we did just see a number of BGE workers come out away from where the explosion happened. Now, behind me here is kind of this setup for Baltimore City Police, Baltimore City Fire. There have been a lot of firefighters that we've seen come out. Of course, you can tell just how hot, how sweaty, how tired they are, but they'll grab a water and they go right back. We've seen a lot of crews, new crews show up, new firefighters come in, get suited up, and then, of course, head down there. We've also seen a lot of neighbors come out here and city workers grabbing belongings that belong to some of the neighbors inside their houses and bringing them out, which is just truly incredible. Now, like Paul mentioned earlier, this is still an active search and rescue operations. Baltimore City Fire says as of right now, it is not a recovery. We've seen a lot of search and rescue teams head in towards that scene. Again, additional fire crews out here. Now, this scene behind me here, this is where over here by all of these fire personnel, BGE truck, this is where they've been treating victims earlier on today. So I know Annie Rose had mentioned that they might have just seen somebody being pulled out. We have not seen anybody brought over here in quite some time, but I am told that this is the area where they are treating victims. And, you know, again, it is a massive community effort out here. There are a lot of neighbors over here on this side who are still waiting to get inside their homes. You know, they've been outside for quite some time now. Of course, no power, no gas inside their homes. There was one woman that I spoke with who said that she was waiting to get back to her house. She left early this morning. She doesn't even know what her house looks like right now, so she's very anxious to get back home. Of course, that feeling of anxiety is one that I can't even imagine neighbors out here are feeling. You know, a lot of people just ready to get back in and, of course, start working on, you know, the cleanup phase that comes with this, guys.
Okay, we certainly can understand that as well. Kelsey Kushner, thank you very much.
All right, let's go to Rachel Menentoff now. She's live at the Applebee's where people can drop off supplies for victims. Rachel, what's the latest where you're at?
Rick and Vic, that's right. We are in the parking lot right off of Reisterstown Road. You can see the tremendous community response. People have donated all of this water. There's also clothing here. And to my right, there is food. There are 2 cooling centers over here where the Red Cross is helping anyone who's been displaced with housing. I also want to bring in Will Hanna, the CEO of the new Park Heights CDC. Will, you have been kind of organizing this response, and we talked about 2 hours ago. What has changed between now and then?
God came in. That was it. God showed up and said, you know what? This ain't y'all fight. And he said, you know what? This is what he wanted his people to do. This all came from the community. You know, this is what the community responded to. And so it wasn't just us. This was us reaching out to our community and saying, look, our brothers need you. Our brothers and sisters need you. They showed up.
And you said people came from all over the city, all over the county. Tell me more about the response.
We had response. I want to give a big shout out to State of Maryland, DGS came through, Sean Sinet, FEMA. But we had residents that just came in from Glen Burnie, from Montgomery County, that came in from Anne Arundel County. They came from all over the city. People came here just to donate stuff. I mean, we had pallets and pallets and pallets of water, ice. Applebee's been a big help. They're helping feed some people. All of the restaurants in the area. And I'll feed there's the mayor. All the restaurants in the area, they've contributed. They've helped Subway and Burger King and Papa John's and Applebee's and all. So this is the response that we always say we never get from the community. This is the community responding.
Tell me what's happening on these 2 cooling buses over here. You said that the Red Cross is now helping with housing. Tell me more.
So the Red Cross is here. They've been very helpful with our efforts. Sean and his group and all of them over there with the Red Cross and Erica, all of them from the Red Cross. The buses are here. This is the city of Baltimore that came in to respond and said, this is the Baltimore City Housing. That came in and said, what they're doing is they're coming, they're having people that live in the affected area come in so they can get their information if their property was impacted, if they're displaced, all that, they have their information. They're getting all that. So at the same time, At the same time, what we're doing is just coordinated assistance. So when the residents come through or they drive through, we can able to give them whatever it is, supplies that we have that they need. So it's been a great response from the city, the state, and the community at large, the business community, everyone's still coming. I mean, people have actually lined up and have gone to, like, I mean, you see people coming in with stuff from the stores. It's been incredible. It's been incredible. But this is God's work. This is what we're supposed to do. This is how our community is supposed to respond and come together.
Will, Hannah, thank you so much for joining us and explaining this tremendous community response. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, Rick and Vic, you heard this is the staging area where if you have been displaced, you can come get food, water. You can cool off in one of these cooling centers over here or gain assistance with housing if you have been displaced. We are right off of Reisterstown Road in the parking lot of the Applebee's. For now, I'll send it back to you.
Okay, Rachel, thank you very much. Coming up on WJZ News at 4, we'll be back with more on this developing story out of Northwest Baltimore.
Chopper 13 over the scene. Our team is on the ground right now, and meteorologist Chelsea Ingram is monitoring those hot temperatures as many people are now without electricity. We'll be right back.